Hello everyone, Angel Ram, second channel Ram, back once again for another episode of EVO. And in today's episode, we're gonna be talking about a game with the most different roster it had in the whole series. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Strike y'all in Street Fighter 3.
So, if you're new, obviously, this is a series where we talk about one fighting game per day until EVO 2024, and today we're talking about Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Now, we've talked about almost every iteration of Street Fighter: Street Fighter 6, Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter, a version of Street Fighter 2. Now we're on Street Fighter 3, all we need is Street Fighter 4 and 1, but we'll see. So anyways, Street Fighter 3. Now this is going to be a shorter episode because how we talk about things here is we talk about gameplay, modes, stuff like that. This is where we kind of get to the downfall. There's not much to talk about, so. And I don't know that much more on, like, historical background of Street Fighter 3. So I'm going to give you some stuff I know. So Street Fighter 3, there's three versions. There's Street Fighter 3, the new generation. There's Third Strike, and there's also Second Impact, I think. So, we're going to be talking about Third Strike, a most popular one and the last version of Street Fighter 3. So, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike has the most unique roster from all the games come together. I think, like, out of all Street Fighter games, it has like a really different roster. Because a lot of those characters that are in Third Strike don't appear at all anymore in Street Fighter history. So let's see. Let's talk about the roster first. Then we don't have any what's it called, of the iconic cast. Mostly, we only have really 4 characters. We have the main. I don't even know what to call them, but we have 4: Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, and Akuma. From every version so far, these are the only 4 that are what's it called, like, carry over. Because we know all these characters like in Street Fighter 2 and Alpha. The rest are kind of new, so. This is the introduction of some more iconic characters. So we have Ibuki's in here, Elena, which is gonna come to Street Fighter 6, Yun and Yang, Urine, Alex, let's see, who else? All these kind of newer characters. A lot of them don't show up anymore after this game, actually. So we have characters like, Necro and 11 or 12, one of those two. They don't show up at all anymore after this game. Remy does not show up. I think it's it's Q in this game. Q, he doesn't show up anymore. Who else? There's a lot of characters who joined this game just don't appear anymore. Like, I feel like out of all Street Fighter games, this one has the least amount of carried over characters. So Street Fighter 1, we had Ryu, and all of them, Ken, Sagat, all, even up to Street Fighter 5, they came back. And then same with Street Fighter 2, they all came back to this day. Alpha, a lot of them came back in 4 or 5. And even 4 had more reappearing characters, but I feel like Street Fighter 3 series had the least amount of carried over characters. But that's just me. Maybe there's another game. Maybe Street Fighter 4 has less as well, but still. I'm talking a lot about the lore here because there's not much to say about the game itself when it comes to content wise. So let me try to time a little bit more. But yeah, story wise, I think there is a story once you beat the whole arcade mode. Now, when I was doing footage, I didn't get to beat it. It's a bit hard, so I'm not used to that. But yeah, I think there's a story afterwards. But yeah, I think there's a boss, and the boss is always Gil. And yeah, so there's that. But I guess we can talk about the game itself now. Let's talk about some gameplay stuff. So, Third Strike is the first game in Street Fighter history, I think, to include the parry system. So if you want to parry, this game has that. So there's a parry, like Street Fighter 6's parry, so it probably came from there. There's also, what's it called, meter. It goes up to 3. Okay, certain characters have certain amount of meter. I also have 1. Sorry, some have 3, and maybe some have 2. But I know there's people with 1 and 3. I think the ones I was playing, they had meters of 1 to 3, which was I was playing Ryu, Chun-Li, and Akuma, and they had different levels of meter. And each character has their own super. So if you want to choose like kind of like Ultra Street Fighter 4, there's 2 different supers you can choose from, or V triggers from Street Fighter 5. But yeah, you can choose. Everybody has at least 2 or 3, probably. I think Akuma has 3, and so does Ryu. But yeah, everybody has more than 1 you can choose from. I think that's what actually determines how much meter you get. But yeah, I don't think there's EX, but I could be wrong, and probably am wrong. But there's no EX, so you can't use the meter for anything besides that. But yeah, the meters is only really for the supers. So if you had a full meter of 3, you can use like 3 different supers. Pretty broken. Now the mode it has is arcade mode. Now also, before I get into any more of this video, the version of Street Fighter 3 I was playing is the 30th anniversary edition. I know there's a lot of different versions, and some play better than others, and I don't know. 30th collection version plays very good compared to what pros might think, but that's the one I have my hands on, so I'm playing this one. 30th collection. So I know there's different versions with different modes on each, but that's the one I have access to. But yeah, anyways, so the one I have access to has versus, you know, like most Street Fighter games, and arcade mode. Now the arcade mode is a bit different than its usual arcade mode, so you get to go down a route, and this time you have to fight each opponent. You have to choose which opponent to fight. So like if you choose Ryu, then you get to choose, after you fight the first one, you have the option to choose, like, let's say Yoon or Yang, and you get to fight one or the other. You don't fight with both. And the next fighter you would choose, there would be 2 options again, and so on and so forth. Which actually happened in Street Fighter 5, I forgot to mention that, but yeah. Now, after the first battle, you typically start off with a low grade. After each battle they grade you. So let's say, I think it's just G plus is what I got. And then afterwards, you just make your score higher and higher. I think the highest might be an A or an S. But that's how that works. Kind of like how that score works. So if you play really good, your grade gets higher, and there's a bunch of fights. So your goal is to get your grade pretty high, relatively. But yeah, that's how the arcade works. And I think the Andy Fight Gil, that's what I'm gonna assume. Again, I didn't get to beat it, but that's kind of what happens. There's no training mode, unfortunately, and at least I don't think so, or I didn't see. Because the 30th collection works a little weird, because at the when you open it up, you choose play online, which is probably maybe online in Third Strike if you want to play online. So there's online, offline, and something else. I forgot what it was. But yeah, it probably is training. I just didn't get to see it, use it. So it's very content little, but you know, it's not a new game, so what can you expect? Now, visually, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, it's still a pretty good looking game. Like, for it being 8-bit, it looks pretty nice. Like, characters look pretty good. It doesn't look rough. Their faces and facial expressions look very, like, good. Like, for 8-bit, you know? But yeah, the stages are pretty cool. I noticed a lot of these stages just don't exist anymore. So some stages eventually just carry over, like, you know, a lot of Street Fighter 2 stages come to Street Fighter 5, and like a lot of older stages just get pushed back to the future games, and they look better. But a lot of these I don't remember seeing in Street Fighter 5, 6, 3, I mean 4, 5, or 6. A little unfortunate because there's a lot of very cool stages in here that look pretty cool in 3D. Maybe if the Third Strike character gets added, they get a stage from there. But that's you know. I think only one is there is on the Lena stage, that with the Eclipse that gets added to Ultra 4, I think. But yeah, there's not many stages that get carried over. I don't know every Street Fighter 5 stage. Maybe there's some there, but from what I've seen in 4 and 6 and a little bit of 5, not many get carried over. So that's a little sad. That's very cool stages, but that's just me. Anyways, also the music is really good in this game. Like, it's very popping off. Out of all Street Fighter games, it's probably top 3. So we have 4, 2, and 3. Probably have the best music in the whole series. But yeah, like, there were some catchy bangers in there, so I'm probably gonna put some obviously in here, ones I thought were pretty good. But yeah, there's some pretty good bangers in there. They're very catchy ones. It has like a vibe to it. It kind of feels like very. So we think of like kind of like I was talking about in Rev 2 for Guilty Gear. When you think of the word Street Fighter, you think of fighting in the streets, kind of like very downtown fighting, kind of like in the ghetto area or something like that. So that's kind of what the music and vibe of Street Fighter 3 feels like. It feels like Street Fighter itself, the name Street Fighter. So I like that about it. So that's kind of the better than most Street Fighter games. That's just me though. I think Third Strike feels very Street Fighter-y, like what the name is intended. Like when I was talking about Rev 2 and Guilty Gear. But yeah, now I know when it started off, it didn't wasn't very the best because Third Strike is very different from the previous Street Fighters, and it has a very different roster. But now I feel like it's probably one of the most popular Street Fighter games to ever exist. In fact, it's coming back as a returning game this year in EVO. So that's pretty cool. I think it's been in EVOs in the past maybe, but it's returning this year. So that's cool to see. Maybe we'll watch it for the channel. I'm very curious to see how people play online because I wasn't very good, but we'll see how others play. But yeah, very short episode because there was nothing much to say. So you guys did enjoy, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 12 of month of EVO. So yeah, goodbye.